My name's Jim Bonilla, and I'm an off-grid homesteader. We are out here to live a more sustainable life, trying to kind of fend for ourselves, do for ourselves, remove ourselves from relying on the system, the food sources, and the grid. Just trying to be more sustainable and live life on our own terms. Mainly it kind of probably stemmed from health concerns, just getting away from processed food, just kind of living out of the country, sort of away from the city. The whole thing was kind of birthed from the permaculture movement, which is a design science in order to get everything, all the systems you set out to work together to be much more efficient. So like your growing systems, your water systems, animal systems, all that working together to make for a much more sustainable, efficient system. So we have 15 320 watt panels that sends power to our shed. We have two 3,000 watt inverters. So those are stacked. So those can send out probably a continuous voltage of 6,000 to 7,000 watt continuous running watts. We have 4 Tesla lithium-ion batteries, just used car batteries. So that stores all the electricity that we pull in from the day. So we have energy at night. Those hold 20 kilowatt hours worth of power. Together, those things supply pretty much, I would say, most of our energy needs. Our annual rainfall is about 13 inches annually, give or take. Water's scarce. We don't have a well out here. We need to collect water off of every surface because we get rain, or bulk of our rain, one time a year. We get a smaller monsoon season, kind of in the winter, but we have one opportunity to catch pretty much most of the water we're going to use throughout the year. So we need as much collection surfaces and as much storage as possible. You get 0.62 inches for every square foot of catchment on 1 inch of rain. So for that 2,200 square foot roof, we can get about 1,300 gallons for 1 inch of rain. Earth bags is kind of the cousin of rammed earth, and we like it, or we decided to go with that just because of cost. Probably one of the cheapest ways you can build. With a lot of other methods of earth building, you might need to add like a traditional roof. With earth bags, it's mainly just the bags, and if you build a dome shape, then you don't need a traditional roof, and you can save a ton of money that way as well. Very cost efficient. They have a lot of thermal mass, so we don't need insulation. They kind of act as its own temperature regulator. Very simple. Obviously, a couple of people can build with it, even a massive structure like this. Living this type of lifestyle, kind of building everything from the ground up. I mean, this was just bare land when we started, nothing out here. Everything takes longer and costs more than expected. You might have an idea of how things are going to go, but nothing ever quite works out that way. It takes a lot of time, for sure. A lot of time, a lot of resources. One fear that I have is that sometimes, we have a YouTube channel. There are a lot of people doing this on YouTube. And I think sometimes the lifestyle gets romanticized. Maybe people think that this is a lot easier than it truly is. If I can put it out there that, this is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of physical labor. There are going to be setbacks that people are going to have to deal with. I would caution people to prepare yourself mentally and physically because it's a challenging lifestyle. We used to live in the city for a while. Any job I've ever had before doing this, eventually I would be there long enough where I would get bored. You're at a place, you get really good at it. The job doesn't offer any type of excitement or interest anymore. This type of lifestyle was really the first time in my life that I've really been able to challenge myself in such a way where I could keep myself interested, keep myself focused constantly. I could never find that kind of challenge in my day-to-day city life. It was boring. It was just the same thing every day. With this, there's new challenges every day. I get to wake up. I get to do some problem solving. I get my exercise in with all the physical labor we do out here. And it's never a dull moment, always something to do. I think we've kind of been making moves away from more condensed city living for a while, moving from like a metropolis. And before we lived here, we kind of lived in a small city south of Phoenix, and then eventually to here. For me, it was mainly needing those challenges and needing something else in my life besides what the city could offer. You always got the people living right on top of each other. So for us, having the space to kind of do what we want, not having to worry about so much about like the codes, if we want to have animals out there, it just gives us the space and the freedom to kind of do what we want. I think one of the things that surprises people is the fact that it's just my wife and I out here sort of making it on our own by ourselves. I mean, we do a tremendous amount of work out here, and I think it's kind of unusual to see like two people, especially just two people, kind of build so many like huge structures. So, I mean, we get a lot of comments on that. It's kind of different from what you usually see. We kind of did a lot of research before making the move ourselves. We watched other people's videos, did a lot of reading on exactly what we're going to need to be doing. So we prepared ourselves mentally and physically before making that move. I knew that there was going to be a lot of problem solving, that I was going to need to be a lot more independent, moving from that city life to more of this off-grid life. I started kind of doing more things by myself. I started learning how to work on my own car, do repairs around the house. I started doing all that myself so that I was ready for those challenges out here. And getting out here, there were definitely setbacks. There were definitely hard times. There were definitely setbacks, things that just get you down, but they never really got me down too much. One thing, it's good to have another person out here with you so that when one's feeling down, you can pick the other person up. We met those challenging times, and we've done it with smiles for the most part. I struggle with high blood pressure. Being out here really has allowed me to sort of take control of my health. Doing all the kind of physical work that we do, it's definitely kept me a lot more active. Working in the sun, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot stronger than I did in my 20s. I'm in my early to mid 40s now, and I probably feel the best I've ever felt in my life. Not only are we building in the desert, people think that's crazy. I mean, when you think of people homesteading, you might want to do it maybe near a water source or maybe in a forest where you can get maybe supplies more readily, cut down trees to build your house. But, here in the desert, we still make do with the resources that we have. We'll catch water when it rains. We'll build from the dirt right underneath our feet. But it's alien to people why we would do it here. Building with earth bags, people aren't used to that. People question that kind of building style. People assume that when we're going to build a dome that would cave in on our heads. But, you do the research and you find out how to make that work. Obviously, it hasn't caved in so far, but it's looking really good. And the reason why we chose the desert, people think that's a crazy thing to do. Both of us became permaculture certified designers, and we want to utilize our techniques out here to sort of revitalize the landscape. Desertification is a problem here in the desert. Grasslands are disappearing. They're turning further and further into a desert. We want to try our hand to sort of reverse that and stop that if we can. Here around this area, we're probably in the longest drought ever recorded in human history. More and more agricultural things are popping up, pumping water out of the ground. We're just not seeing the rainfall that we have in the area. People that have lived in this area for much longer than us have noticed those grasses disappearing. In its place, you'll find more mesquite trees that have to that have to put in deeper tap roots in order to get that water from the ground. So this landscape is changing drastically. We decided to kind of take that challenge, kind of live in this environment, and see if we can't put those techniques that we've learned to the land here and see if we can't make the soil healthier. I mean, if anyone has dug in this harsh desert soil, it is monstrous. It is difficult to dig in. You dig it down maybe a foot or something like that, you hit into what's known as caliche, and it's just a hard, mineral, compact soil, almost impossible to get through. So we're going to see if we can't improve the soil, start growing more things, and really turn this sort of into an oasis here in the desert. We're definitely not the first people to have done this kind of thing. We have actually learned from Jeff Lawton, a much more renowned permaculture designer. He learned from one of the creators of permaculture. So it's just a couple generations down, and then we got that knowledge. And they're doing fantastic things in Jordan, I believe, which is a much harsher climate than what we're dealing with here. And they've made enormous progress over there. It's totally possible with the right techniques, with the right knowledge. I'm really anxious to see what we can do here. And if someone's interested in this type of lifestyle, either off-grid or homesteading, I mean, there's so many different ways people can do it. You got to decide where you want to do it. The desert can be a harsh environment. Water is definitely a concern. Keep that in mind. Sunlight. Do you want to be growing your own food? How do you want to power? What kind of things are you used to? What kind of things can you get away with? Because if you can do without a lot of those city comforts, you might be able to do it a lot cheaper. If you need a lot of those comforts, if you want some of those conveniences, then you're going to have to pay a little bit more for some of your solar power. You're going to have to consider those water. We do our business in a bucket. That might be something some people are not comfortable with. Maybe you want a traditional septic system. Maybe you want to be able to flush those toilets. You're going to need to know about all that water. There's a lot of places in this country you're going to have to get approved for the type of building you want to do. So do your research on kind of where you want to live, what county, so to make sure you can build how you want to build and live how you want to live, because each county in every state might have its own rules. So be aware of that and know how you want to build and how you want to live, and check those county rules. We knew that we didn't want that traditional life and just working nonstop until we're too old to be able to really enjoy life. We knew we needed to do something different. We wanted to spend more time together as a couple, Jess and I. This gives us that opportunity to do that. We get to spend all of our time together, working together. Maybe that's not right for every couple, but that was right for us. It's that opportunity to actually live a life together and not just working all the time and then seeing each other in passing. When we do get a project done, it feels amazing. Sometimes it feels like those victories are so few and far between. It's such a huge accomplishment. And I know some people might lack that confidence to just kind of get out and do what they want to do. Start those small projects and get those done. And then every project you do really builds on that confidence. And then pretty soon, an impossible build like this becomes a reality. It's just laying one bag at a time, and then each of those is just a small victory until you get the larger victory done. Jess and I have so many plans out here. Again, we really want to see what we can do to this landscape. We'd like to be growing much of our own food, maybe start a food forest, plant more trees, definitely some gardens, grow more of our own food, and really mix up those techniques, some in-ground gardening, maybe some raised beds. We definitely want to put some greenhouses into the ground, more temperature controlled. Might be just the way to grow here in our particular climate. We would definitely want to have more animals out here. We really want to be able to not only catch all of our own water, but grow and raise our own food, and really be self-contained in our own little world, but also just make it a kind of a beacon, sort of to inspire other people to be able to do the same. And we'd like to be able to teach once we start doing more of ourselves, and be able to teach other people how to be more sustainable and independent.
Hire us to tell your story. As an independent team of filmmakers, we love producing documentaries for artisans of all trades, honoring skill, passion, and determination.
The fruits of our labor literally creates happiness.
Founded in 2020, we harness our collective experience and enthusiasm for storytelling to deliver content that resonates with viewers on every level.
Think big and think outside of the box.
We avoid the constant noise of clickbait news and outrage headlines, instead crafting more intimate narratives that touch on the purpose of life itself. Stories that not only inform but also inspire, whether it's the art of agriculture, the science of fermentation, an innovative garage startup, or the intricacies of off-grid living. We're here to explore it all and invite you to join us in the discovery.
You're just working with what you have at hand instead of having unrealistic expectations.
We know the world is brimming with hidden stories waiting to be told. These are tales of ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
The biggest thing is to realize that there's nothing that you can't do.
Embodying the American spirit that with hard work, dreams really can come true. So whether you're a garage baker, homegrown mycologist, backyard farmer, or off-grid homesteader, send us a message and share your story with the world.